When you promise yourself you're going to train, study, work on that project, and you don't do it, something happens inside you. Your confidence decreases. Not dramatically, but like an invisible crack in a wall. And every time you postpone again, the crack grows. Have you noticed this? The broken promise doesn't just hurt the goal, it hurts who you believe you are. But here's the good news. You can rebuild. And rebuilding is simpler than you imagine, as long as you accept starting small and proving to yourself that your word is worth something. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a real movement today. In this video, you'll understand why the worst form of discipline isn't a lack of it, but the discipline that lives only in talk and never moves forward. I'm going to show you an ancient method that doesn't require motivation, doesn't require ideal conditions. It only requires you to stop fooling yourself. Imagine if someone filmed your entire day. How much time would you actually spend doing what you said you'd do? That's the question that changes everything. Let me tell you an ancient lesson that crosses centuries and still works better than any modern trick. In distant mountains, a young warrior arrived at a famous master's dojo. He had heard stories about the discipline of the place, about men who trained with blades before sunrise, who repeated the same strikes until their hands bled. The young man wanted that. He wanted to be strong, respected, lethal. The master looked at him and asked, "When will you start?" The young man answered enthusiastically, "Tomorrow, early morning, I'll give my all." The master just nodded and said, "Come back tomorrow then." The next day arrived. The young man showed up, but late. He explained he didn't sleep well, that the path was long. The master asked again, "When do you begin?" "Tomorrow for real," the young man answered. This repeated for weeks. The young man always appeared, always talked about training, always postponed the first real movement. Meanwhile, other apprentices sweated in the courtyard, repeating simple cuts hundreds of times under the fine morning rain. The sound of bamboo being cut echoed. The young man's silence became heavier, until one day the master stopped him from entering. "You've already mastered the most dangerous art," the old man said. "The art of promising without doing. And if you're honest now, you'll recognize this pattern in your own life. How many times have you decided you wake up early, eat better, study that skill, and the next day the decision evaporated? It wasn't lack of willpower. It was something more subtle. Planning gives you the sensation of progress. Talking about the goal makes you feel productive. Imagining the better version of yourself releases dopamine as if you'd already gotten there. But acting has friction. Acting exposes your clumsiness in the beginning. Acting requires you to leave the comfort fantasy and enter the harshness of reality. And the brain, clever as it is, convinces you that tomorrow will be better, that on Monday you'll be more prepared, that when you have the right equipment, then yes, you look in the mirror and think, "I'm not lazy, I'm just waiting for the ideal moment." But the ideal moment never comes because it doesn't exist. This isn't lack of ability. It's a mental pattern that feeds on itself, and one you can break as soon as you understand the oldest rule about real change. The ancient masters taught something modern culture forgot. True discipline isn't in the size of the effort, but in the consistency of the smallest possible movement. A legendary warrior used to say that a sharp blade isn't born sharp. It's passed over the stone 1,000 times. Each pass is small, almost insignificant, but it's the repetition that creates the edge. He said, "Don't show me what you want to do. Show me what you did today." Because intention without action is just noise. Real discipline is built in a space most people ignore, between promise and practice. That's where you decide if your word is worth something, or if it's just wind. And when you choose to act, even if it's a ridiculously small movement, something changes. Confidence in yourself doesn't come from big victories. It comes from small promises kept. A single push-up done is more powerful than 100 planned. A paragraph written is worth more than a brilliant idea stored away. The master didn't measure his students by their talk. He measured them by the trail left on the mat. So let's get to the method. And this method doesn't require genius, doesn't require special resources. It only requires you to accept starting truly small. The idea is to build what we call a minimum protocol, and it has 3 simple parts. First, the size. You choose an action so small you can do it even on your worst day. I'm not talking about half an hour of training. I'm talking about one set of 10 push-ups. It's not writing 3 pages. It's opening the document and writing 3 lines. The ego hates this. The ego wants a grand beginning, the epic milestone, the visible transformation. But the grand beginning is what locks you up, because on the first difficult day, you quit. The small is what wins, because it's impossible to justify quitting. Second part, the fixed trigger. You tie the habit to a specific moment of the day. It's not when I feel like it. It's right after coffee, or before the shower, or as soon as you sit in the work chair. The brain needs repetition. In the same context, automate. The mountain is climbed step by step, always at the same pace. Third part, the continuity rule. Don't break the chain. If you fail one day, don't let it become 2. Come back the next day, even if it's just a symbolic movement. Because what you're training isn't just the body or the skill. You're training the mind to trust you again. Each day you follow through, the blade gets sharper. And here's the secret nobody tells you. You don't need motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change with the wind. You need a small, repeated commitment. The warrior doesn't train only when he feels like it. He trains because he decided, and the decision is bigger than the mood of the moment. Think of the image. You're climbing the mountain, and each day is a step. You don't see the top yet, but each firm step takes you closer. And on the day when the fog descends and you can't see anything, you still climb that single step, because that's what keeps you alive in the journey. Let me give you a concrete example of how this works in real life. Think of an ordinary guy, a worker, who spent years saying he was going to get in shape. He bought training plans, followed gurus, got excited for 3 days, then stopped. The pattern was always the same. Start big, tire quickly, justify the pause, restart months later, until he finally understood. He stopped trying to become an athlete overnight and chose a single rule: every day, right after waking up, do 10 push-ups. Just 10. No warm-up, no motivational playlist, no right clothes. Woke up, 10 push-ups. At first, it seemed ridiculous. 10 push-ups weren't going to change anything. But he did it. And the next day, he did it again. On the third day, his body ached. But he did it anyway. By the second week, he no longer thought about it. He just did it. Then came the test. A horrible day at work. He got home exhausted, just wanted to lie down. And the mind tried to negotiate. You can skip today. You deserve rest. But he remembered the rule. It wasn't about the push-ups. It was about keeping his word. He did the 10, slowly, without perfection, but he did them. And something changed in that moment. He realized he could trust himself again. After 2 months, he had done push-ups on more than 50 consecutive days. And naturally, without forcing, he started adding other movements. Because the momentum was already created. The confidence was already rebuilt. The change didn't come from peak effort. It came from a consistency of an action, so small, it was impossible to fail. Now the question is for you. What's going to be your minimum movement? You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need it to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Choose a ridiculously small action and do it today. 1. Just to prove to yourself you can still keep a promise. And if this video lit something in you, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, because here we're building a community of people who chose to stop postponing. And comment down below, what's going to be your small step today? Listen to this truth carefully. Preparation without practice becomes disguised procrastination. Planning eternally is just another way to run away. Action, even imperfect, generates energy and clarity. Consistency beats talent in the long run. The perfect day doesn't exist, but today does. Your confidence won't come back with motivational talk. It comes back when you do what you promised, even if it's small. The warrior from those mountains finally understood the lesson. He stopped waiting for the ideal version of himself and started training with the real version, imperfect but present. On the first day, he made only 3 cuts. On the second, 3 more. On the 10th, he no longer counted, just repeated. And months later, when another young man arrived full of promises, He looked and recognized the old pattern. But now he knew the path doesn't start tomorrow. It starts with a decision to take the first step today, however small it may be. So here's your instruction. Choose an action so small it takes 1 minute. And do it now, not after the video. Now, 1 push-up, 3 lines written, 1 paragraph read. Anything that proves to yourself you can still trust your word. And tomorrow, repeat. And the next day, repeat again. Because the blade doesn't sharpen itself. It needs you passing it over the stone every day without fail. If this video made sense, share it with someone who needs to hear this. See you in the next one.